Are you a Windows user? Then this video is for you. If you are a Windows user, there's a high probability that you are using a pirated copy of Windows. Apart from that, many users have some kind of liking for Windows because Windows is the first operating system for the most computer users. Again, a lot of people don't even know other operating system exist. Anyway, I got motivated for this video from a Facebook post where someone with sadness posted that using Linux is easier than convincing people to use Linux. To be honest, Linux or Unix is easy. And the guy who posted that laid a background that his students of computer science were afraid to use Linux, which is really saddening. Well, why Windows is popular? Windows is the most popular operating system in the world now. Well, the reasons behind this can be stated as the first reason of this popularity is Windows is pre-installed in most of the laptops. Even in desktops, most people started their computer journey with Windows and got used to it. A large number of people don't even know the existence of other operating systems. For example, I once saw in a YouTube comment that a guy was frustrated with his Windows computer. His son installed Linux Mint in his computer and his problems were vanished. But the funny thing was, he used to suggest other people to install Windows Mint to solve their problems. Well, it shows the ignorance. Then games. Gaming is one of the most formidable reasons for Windows to be such popular to date. Almost 96% PC gaming share belongs to Windows. Then many industry standard software are built for Windows. It is another reason for Windows to be used a lot. Now let's talk about why switch. Well, I can say that there are no rock solid reasons for Windows to be the most popular in this era. Main reason behind this can be Windows is pre-installed and the marketing policy of Bill Gates in the early days of Windows. Because if any other operating system were popular, games and industry standard software would have been found there, as every company wants to maximize their profit. Before talking about the facts why you should change, let me tell you that there are hundreds of operating systems in the world. I'll be talking about the operating systems we, the normal people, can use. And those are Linux distributions and variants of BSD. Now let's talk about the facts. Not really popular. To see how popular Windows really is, let's widen our viewport. These stats are collected from Stack Overflow and Wikipedia in October 2020. Well, we can see that apart from desktop and laptop area, Windows share is hard to find. Well, to be honest, the stats are little misleading. It discards the it discards the gamers and the normal users share. Windows share in personal computer will increase drastically if those were included. Now, my question to you is Windows really most popular? Okay. Now let's talk about virus or sluggish. Everybody knows about the virus problem of Windows. Many people buy antivirus to keep them protected. Many people use free or pirated antivirus, which is of no use most of the time except making your computer slow. The built-in antivirus in Windows 10 is good, but the question is how much? On the other hand, Unix-like operating system have really low number of viruses. It's practically none. We can see some malware for macOS nowadays, but it's still not comparable to Windows. Now, the antivirus you are using to protect your computer is using the resources of your computer. As a result, it makes your computer a little more slow. And to be honest, even without the antivirus, the performance of Windows is nowhere near to the performance of the BSD or Linux. You can use Linux or BSD in a computer that has 2 GB RAM and an age-old spinning hard disk drive with ease. It can be nightmare if you install Windows in that system. Now think about the scenario with better hardware. What performance boost can you gain by using Linux or by using Linux or BSD? Then reliability. Okay, Windows is not reliable. There are privacy issues, virus issues, blue screen of death issues, updating the PC when you have urgent work to do. Unix-like operating systems have something similar to blue screen of death. It's called kernel panic, but it happens rarely, very rarely. Now, from the stats you've seen before, Linux has the dominance over the server market. The reason behind this is its stability. It hardly crashes. Months, even years gets passed without rebooting once. An example, Solaris was rebooted for an important job and the report said it wasn't rebooted in the last 10 years. 10 years, imagine it with a Windows operating system. Although Solaris is a proprietary operating system, it's still Unix. Now let's talk about control. To talk about control, whatever happens in your Linux or BSD machine, it's under your control. It's not the same in Windows. For example, can you stop the Windows update? You can defy it, or you can do some hack with services to make it stop. But do you know how effective that is? Many people complained about the urgent works got interrupted because Windows decided to update itself. But that never happens in BSD or Linux. When to download updates, install and reboot, it's totally up to you. It won't move an inch without your command. From control, we can also talk about customization. I don't think you can customize Windows much. You can change the theme and wallpaper, may add some widgets on the desktop using a third-party tool like Rainmeter. But in BSD or Linux, you can do whatever you want. You can create your own desktop environment. You can choose whatever software you want. No bloatware. Then comes the issue of privacy. You can never fully control your privacy leak in Windows. You can stop leaking up to a point, but can't stop fully. Your data is being collected by Microsoft, whether directly or hidden inside in any Windows feature. Now let's talk about tools. Some may say that I've gone mad when I say that Linux or BSD is easier than Windows. Well, Linux or BSD is actually easy when you get the hang of it, because it's organized, has many awesome tools like package manager, and almost every configuration is written in some text file with understandable syntax. And scripting is there to make your life even easier. Another thing is, the word easy is relative to familiarity and used to. In this case, Windows is familiar to you, that's why it seems easy, otherwise it wouldn't seem easy. Now let's talk about some latest additions to Windows 10. So Windows 10 and its latest updates added numerous features. Some of them are Windows App Store. Still now it's a failed attempt to copy Mac App Store. Then NuGet, WinGet, well, those are official package managers for Windows. There are also third-party tools like Chocolatey, Scoop, so package manager. So package manager, it is found in Unix-like operating systems like Linux or BSD. To package manager is the tool that manages your packages. That means by package I mean the software you use in your Linux machine or BSD machine. Now, another feature that got added to Windows 10 is WSL. That means Windows Subsystem for Linux. Well, to make Windows feature rich, Microsoft used the Linux kernel in Windows. It screams out that Windows is not good enough. So Unix-like things are getting included into Windows to eradicate its deficiencies. But the base is still that not good Windows. I can say a lot on this, but if I do that, this is going to be a very long video, which is already long. Now let's talk about piracy versus free and open source. Many Windows users who use their computer for personal use a pirated copy of Windows. There are some problems of using a pirated Windows, even if you don't see them with your naked eyes. Some may say we can use it for free, so why bother? Well, you can use it for free, but you can't use it for free legally. Linux and BSD is free and open source. There are paid softwares available in these platforms as well, but most of them are free. Another thing to note, it's not related to ethics but feelings. I myself am a little close to computers. Sometimes I write some lines of codes too. So now, if I build something with no intention to distribute it for free, but you use it without paying me any dime, I'd be hurt whether I take any steps against you or not. By using Linux or BSD, you won't be hurting other people as well as depriving other people of their rights. Then open source. One major benefit of open source products is everyone can see the code, I mean the source code. So if any bug or security hole is present there, it gets spotted soon and gets fixed soon. That does not happen in closed source software. If someone creates a virus or ransomware exploiting a bug or security hole and traps someone, that person is successful, and that if that someone is you, then you're doomed. So for security wise, Linux is still better than Windows. Now let's talk about bonus. Okay, so there are two things here, but I can add a lot more. Whatever, let's talk about two things. Wine is a translation or compatibility layer that allows you to run Windows applications in your Unix-like operating system. That means you can run many Windows applications inside your Linux or BSD machine. Then Darling. This is specific to Linux users. Darwin Unix is a fork of BSD Unix 4.4, and every Apple operating systems such as macOS, iOS, tvOS, watchOS is based on that Darwin Unix. So Darling is a translation layer or a port of Darwin Unix to Linux, which allows you to run macOS applications in your Linux machine. So by using Linux, you can run Windows applications, you can run Mac applications, and of course the Linux applications. And another thing to note here, Linux is getting good for gaming as well in recent years. In fact, many Windows games runs better in Linux. But if your focus is just gaming, nothing else, no performance you need, so for that only Windows is still ahead. Well, truth be told, I can add a lot of things in here, but lot of things to explain why Linux is better than Windows or BSD is better than Windows, but it doesn't matter whether I speak about them unless you use it. And if you start using Linux or BSD, then you can find it by yourself why. So let's come to the conclusion. According to me, only two reasons why you would still use Windows are: one, you are a hardcore gamer; two, for any reason you are bound to use Windows, may that be any software or your company. Apart from these two reasons, I do not see any reason why you should still use Windows. If you want to hear my experience, I used from Windows XP to Windows 10 except Windows Vista. I used Hackintosh and Real Mac, used FreeBSD from BSD category, and some number of GNU or GNU Linux distributions. So before making my point, let's talk about a Mac. Mac is truly a powerful operating system with great hardware. Apart from some malware, there are nothing wrong to use it. Now my point. There are some technical differences between BSD and Linux, but usage is almost same. You may find it a bit hard to find solutions for a problem because solutions for a problem in BSD, because you would have to go through the documentations, which are very well written, and you cannot find quick solutions because BSD is not that popular. I would recommend using a BSD for those technical reasons, but if you're just a newbie, I would not suggest so. But if you use Linux, you won't be getting any less benefits. In fact, you will get more. That's why I would suggest you to use Linux. If you are a programmer, use Linux. Trust me, if you are a programmer and not using it, and you are not using Linux, then you are doing injustice to yourself. Then, if you want a custom look of your PC, use Linux. If you want to get the full potential of your computer, use Linux. In fact, even if you are just starting using computers, definitely start your journey with Linux. Trust me, you won't regret it. By the way, I'm not against Microsoft. They make good software. It's just Windows that is not good enough. And I'm not saying replace your Windows with Linux right now. Just install Linux in dual boot. I believe as the day passes, you will be booting into Windows less and less. Just give Linux some time. You're getting an operating system that is more secured, more powerful, and has better performance than Windows. And that costs you nothing. So why would you not use it? And if you're using a pirated copy of Windows, then I see no reason why Windows should be your main operating system anymore. If you have any suggestions or any questions, feel free to comment. Thank you for your patience. Goodbye.